discussed, was talked a little bit by my previous speaker also. I would take this in a little more detail. The biofuel production is increasing. This is a very good alternative. It has been envisaged. Look into the projections of bioethanol. Thailand is number 8 in terms of bioethanol production. United States, Brazil, and China and EU together, they are the big producers at this time. The Thailand would have by 2017 about 11 or 12% of the energy requirement in Thailand coming from bioethanol. When we go to biodiesel, I don't see much of biodiesel coming based on these projections. These are the main crops which are used in different places. So look into Thailand. Again, we are using a lot of sugarcane, cassava, oil palm for production of bioethanol and biodiesel. So what do we do? There is a big issue of water allocation, again between cities and agriculture, and even within livestock. There is a huge inequity. This is shown in a different way here. When we go to water and food issues, one point which I would like to mention here is that 3 of the top 10 food exporters are water scarce countries. And 3 of the top 10 food importers are water rich. How do we really link it? Over the last several decades, the irrigation has played a big role. The irrigation area has increased. The food price index has gone down, with some increase which has happened recently, which is shown here. In 2008 we had and 2010 and 11 again the food prices are increasing, and there are many reasons of it. We can discuss on those. Before this, how these food preferences and diets are changing and putting the impact on the water resource is reflected through this virtual water calculations here. There is a big difference between producing a 1 kilogram of wheat compared to beef, which is known to many of us. Importantly is that we need about a liter of water to produce 1 calorie of energy. So if a person is needing about 2000 kilocalories, 2000 calories per day, then we will be needing about 2000 liters of water per day. Average desired energy intake is about 2800. So what are the challenges? The population we have seen increasing. The land area is more or less remaining constant. So the main challenge which we are going to face is to provide the sufficient food and water. So we somehow have to increase our production, the per unit of water. Irrigated agriculture, a lot of investment has gone from public sector. We need to think about what could be the new irrigation financial model, because without expansion of irrigation and intensification of irrigation, we would not be able to feed the increasing population. Productivity needs to be increased because of increased competition among different sectors, and also the environmental protection and ecosystem protections. We would need to see how really we go for integrated water resource management. Now, looking into irrigation, why do we invest in irrigation? Again, one of the very important reason to invest in irrigation is to reduce the poverty. Now, we need to meet the demand. We need to adapt to the different demands which are coming from urbanization, industrialization, and on top of it, somehow we need to address this climate change challenge which is coming up. I link water and energy now. We need water to produce energy, and we need energy to produce water. This slide shows that how much water is required to produce energy by different ways. And interestingly, hydropower, let's say, needs about 17 cubic meters per megawatt hour. The biofuel crops needs about a big range of 30 to almost 350 cubic meters of water for each megawatt hour. As I said earlier, that we have about 1.5 billion people without electricity, access to electricity, which is distributed here. The groundwater use is increasing in many countries, especially I would mention India, Bangladesh, China. The groundwater use, of course, would put a lot of pressure on energy resources. And that is reflected by this slide, which shows that, just to give an example, that the per 1,000 hectare of command area, the energy use has gone up by 5 times in 2 decades. Energy use has gone up about 5.5 times. Of course, I would skip this energy use in industrial and domestic sector quite a bit. Hydropower could be one renewed resource which has been gaining importance and interest again by the donors. And most of this hydropower development is going to come in Asia. So energy will be met through hydropower, and hydropower would need water in order to generate electricity. As I said, not much work has been done in order to understand the impact of biofuel production on the water resources. And this would be an example which I am going to present you later. We would need to see the implications of biofuel production in terms of the demand which is going to increase either in the production phase or in the processing phase. We need to see the impact on pollution, water quality, environment itself, and it might lead to water scarcity in many places where water is already under stress. Biofuel also has put an increase in the food price, which is quite shown in 2006 when China used a lot of corn for producing biofuel, and the domestic food price has gone shoot up. Similarly, it is expected that the food price will go up by 15 to 30% if we go for a large scale biofuel production in different countries. Now, interesting point here is that we are talking of food security, and I would say that 16 million people will be food insecure if the real price of food goes up by 1% only. By increase of food price by 1%, the 16 million people will be food insecure. Important point is that what is the trade-off? What really we would like to go about it? Whether we produce food or we produce fuel or we produce feed, because we are changing our food habits. Okay. Climate change is going to affect anything and everything related to water. Let me tell you with respect to food security, there are 4 major aspects that climate change would have effect on food production and the availability of food itself. The supplies, the stability of supplies, because of the extreme events, number of floods and droughts are going to increase, and that would also have impact on the food supplies. Food accessibility, as I defined earlier, that the food security is also related to accessibility and the utilization. So these are the 4 dimensions of food security with respect to climate change. Climate change again will have impact on the crop yield, because there are many crops which are temperature affected, constant by temperature increase, which I will show you later on. The change in the precipitation pattern would have effect on the availability of water resources. The sea level rise and storm surges are going to have effect on the low-lying areas. Evaporation is going to increase, evapotranspiration is going to increase. So there are a lot of changes which are expected because of the climate change, and then if we put more pressure on the groundwater resources, then groundwater resources will be depleted, putting also the stress on the energy requirement. I will take very quickly 2 case studies, as I was telling you. One is a case, this is a master's thesis done at AIT. We try to analyze what would be the impact of climate change and what are the adaptation measures in rice production in northeast of Thailand. So our